I call to order the New Kent County Board of Supervisors Wednesday, November 12th, 2025 meeting to order. Reverend Parker from Providence Forge Presbyterian Church is here to lead us in the invocation pledge.
Let us pray. Almighty, gracious, and loving God, I ask that you bless all of these folks here, but in particular those who have been elected to serve here in this great county of New Kent. May they do their work in a spirit of wisdom, a spirit of kindness, and a spirit of justice. Help them use their authority to serve faithfully and to promote the general welfare through your Son, the one who is, was, and always will be. Amen.
Amen.
I now invite everyone to rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If I may, I wanted to make one quick announcement.
Yes, ma'am.
The Providence Forge Little Free, or really not so Little Free Pantry, has been up and running since September, and with the current situation of hunger in our country, but particularly this community, it is getting hit pretty hard and frequently. So if you are willing to be a volunteer, just give us a call at the office. If you're willing to financially contribute, we would appreciate it. And I also have a list of donations if people would like that. So just wanted to lift that up, but it's located right in our church parking lot. It's a shed, and it's one of the 3 in the county. So thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like me to leave this?
Yes, could you leave that with Ms. Watkins? You too. Thank you. Ms. Watkins, will you call the roll, please?
Mr. Evelyn?
Here.
Mr. Moyer?
Here.
Ms. Pearson?
Here.
Mr. Steers?
Here.
And Ms. Stewart?
Here.
Good evening. Welcome, everyone. We have a pretty big agenda this evening. This is one of the, probably one of the most meetings that I look forward to every year with our graduates of New Kent University to hear what they have to say. So, thanks everybody for being here, and also thanks everybody for watching on TV. With that, we'll get started. Consent agenda. Board members, any comments, questions?
Mr. Chair, I just have a couple of questions, comments and questions. On, Mr. Lawrence, on the appropriations for the animal shelter, most of those came from the recycling event, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, it just wasn't clear in there, and they gave me the money, and I just wanted to put that on record that I brought you the money. The other item that's on there is the budget transfer for the part-time person in CSA. And Mr. Hathaway, if you just want to explain what that is for, just so it's on the record. And also, we switched the budget transfer around. It was the opposite of the way it was supposed to be. So, thank you.
That's correct. Item number 6, the interdepartmental transfers. Excuse me. I've passed out, and you should have before you in your seats a revised transfer form for the CSA department, Children's Services Administration Department. And the revision on this form is that the credit and debit was in the reverse. So that's been corrected. I'd also like to state the $18,000 that is being requested is for funding a part-time position. It is normally our policy that the Board of Supervisors have to approve all new positions, and that is our policy, that all new positions are to be approved by the Board of Supervisors. This actually is an existing position that was approved several years ago, but it was not funded in this current fiscal year budget. The activity has increased significantly in that department, and our director feels that she could utilize a part-time position. You should remember that the director not only serves New Kent, but she also, through a mutual aid agreement, serves Charles City County as well. And right now, it's a department of one. Since there is increased activity, I'm asking that we do fund the part-time position that's been previously approved in that department.
Just one question on that, Mr. Chair. Mr. Hathaway, is this position going to be shared with Charles City as well, or?
This position will be shared with Charles City as well. Next fiscal year, we will revise the amendment so that they will cover a portion of this position. If it's approved today, it's going to be some time before we fill the position. And the way our mutual agreement is currently drafted, they have a one-time annual payment commitment. Actually, they have a fixed amount. They actually pay twice a year. But instead of amending the agreement mid-year, we'll just pick it up next fiscal year.
Any other comments on the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented, and that it be made part of the record.
With the change of,
Transfer of funds.
With the budget transfer switched.
any other discussion? Ms. Watkins, poll the members.
Mr. Moyer,
Aye.
Ms. Pearson,
Aye.
Mr. Steers,
Aye.
Ms. Stewart,
Aye.
and Mr. Evelyn.
Aye. Motion passes. We have two presentations this evening. The first is the New Kent University class of 2025. I think Mr. Hathaway is going to come down and present their certificates, and I'll ask the board members to come down as well and congratulate the graduates.
Hello, everyone. Our New Kent University program is a citizen program, a 10-week program that gives citizens the opportunity to learn about county operations. Throughout the course, our citizens have had the opportunity to meet all of our directors, hear presentations from all of our directors, and understand more of what they do. And I'm seeing our boss. Yes. I will use a microphone so those following us on social media will understand what's going on. But again, our New Kent University program, we're so proud of this program. It is a citizen program where annually for 10 weeks, our class will get the opportunity to hear presentations and meet all of the county directors, as well as some of our state partners and some of our nonprofit partners. Program really is geared to providing an understanding of county operations, and more importantly, with those that participate, letting them know if they have questions, who they can reach out to with those questions. So, and hopefully, and that it has been the case in the past, we've also shared information on how our residents can volunteer, and there's numerous volunteer opportunities in the county. We're so proud of our graduating class of 2025. I mentioned that this class of 2025 actually created a motto for themselves, which is the best class ever. So All right, so as I call your name, please come forward. Johanna Davis. We can clap now. Yeah. Heather Mae Dombrowski. Deborah Gillian.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next is Peter Hanlon. Thank you. All right. And Dale Kaufelt. Okay. Dale could not join us today, so we'll make sure that he gets his diploma. She could not join us. Okay. David Kazera. Okay. Veronica Perrin.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Mary Ellen Pennington. Thank you. Michael Pennington. Elise Sandusky. All right. Carol Joe White. Thank you. Nene Williams. Thank you. And this is our graduating class of 2025. And I would welcome to give any of the class members an opportunity to talk about their experience with the program.
Oh, I got her talking to me. Oh, dang. I just want to say thank you to the Board of Supervisors and Krista for putting on this program. You guys said it's been going on for 10 years? 19. Oh, I'm sorry. 19 years. But it's a great opportunity, and if you guys haven't done it or heard about it, I would encourage you guys to do it. You guys get to learn a lot of information. And some of the stuff that, you may not like or complain about, you can come here and learn about it. Because the Board of Supervisors do a great job in, informing us and taking us around the town or the city and the county, and we get to learn a lot of things. And like they said, we get to speak to the directors, and they give us their information, and they're a phone call away. So, yeah, I would highly recommend and looking into it. And thank you guys again.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. It's up to you.
I wrote a poem. Ode to NKU, the class that reigns supreme. At NKU, I learned a ton about how this county's work gets done, from cash that flows both in and out to how our services come about. We learned about our schools, though not to brag, I already knew that part. The sheriffs and fire and rescue, they've all got a lot of heart. The nature trails, so green, so fair, though I won't be walking Warren Eye soon, since learning folks get lost out there. My first visit to New Kent Airport and the new shelter has incredible charms. While visiting the old shelter, oh, those pups had me longing to hold them in my arms. We learned of refuse, maintenance, commerce, and how the county plans, everyone trying to keep a pace with growth as our population continues to expand. Parks and Rec and Virginia's cooperative extension, so many fun programs, impossible for everyone to be mentioned. And the wastewater plant, well, that was quite a view. While educational, a part of me wishes I could unlearn a thing or two. We balanced a budget. Yes, it was tight. Perhaps such keeps you all up at night. Much like the school budget with needs that never end. Hats off to those who steer it wisely around each and every bend. To all those who make possible this awesome NKU program, Davenport Board of Supervisors, we thank you each for lending a hand. And to Krista and all who helped her, they truly never missed a beat. They kept our binders full and our bellies full of treats. To all my fellow classmates, you are really quite the crew. I must say it's been a pleasure and a joy to learn along with you. May the NKU class of 2025 reign forever, be bold, and endlessly thrive. Now we go onward and upward with knowledge bright and new, better informed citizens, and perhaps a little heroic too. Thank you.
Thank you.
I would just like to thank each and every one of you for taking this class. I know it is a big commitment, but I really know, being on the board for 17 years, that it opens the citizens' eyes of what we do. And we were at our conference this week at a Homestead, the VACO conference, and we were listening to different speakers. And they said, your board members are no better than your staff. And I will tell you, I think right here in New Kent County, we have the best staff in the Commonwealth. And I'm so proud of them, of what they've done, and how we can showcase what New Kent County can do and does with a small little county, but we have such a big impact in the Commonwealth. So all staff members here, can we give them a round of applause and thank you for all they do. And Krista, I know you don't like any accolades. But her and Shannon and Wanda, they do a great job, so I would like to give them a special round of applause. All right. Anybody else? I'm going to skip around a little bit. I'm going to skip to our residency administrative report because I've been in some meetings in neighboring counties where they might have been having to stay real long. So I'm going to try to, they look out for us real good. So I'm going to try to get them out of here this evening. Mr. Frazier.
Well, I do appreciate that. I also appreciate you making me go after that poem. That was, I don't have any rhymes up my sleeve, but that was good. Philip Frazier, resident engineer in Ashland. Appreciate you guys letting me be here tonight. So it's been, I think, probably 2 months since I've seen you guys. Last month, Mark came and spoke on my behalf while I was gone. So I got a couple general updates that I want to share with you, and then I have a couple specific updates for the group. Our mowing operations, we've completed our final mowing cycle for our primary system. That recently completed. Over the last few weeks, what we've been doing is preparing for the upcoming season. I won't say it, but it's in the winter, so what we do this time of the year is we start checking over our plows, our trucks, our spreaders, that type of equipment, make sure that we are all hands ready for any kind of winter weather that we might experience this winter. So that's been going on really well, and I can tell you right now, my experience going to our different shops around the residency, seeing the equipment, it's in impeccable shape. I know my staff would second that. It was probably one of the better, what we call a dry run, and preparedness for winter weather that we've had in a long time. So really appreciate my staff and putting that together and being prepared. So a couple specific updates I wanted to provide. Mr. Steers, Eastview Lane, I know that's been something we've talked about quite a bit. They have finished the paving operation that they were doing out there. I think there's still some shoulder work to be done with some stone, but you should see a pretty major improvement with a road that was fairly narrow.
Yes. Mr. Frazier, I've heard several compliments from the residents in that new neighborhood that opened up over there, Shirley Commons.
Sure.
They think you're a king. Really do.
Well, I appreciate that. Takes a team, so happy we could
appreciate it.
Bring some smiles to some folks' face. I also want to share with you that the public hearing for the Kentland Trail roundabout at 155, that's scheduled for next week, I believe on the 19th, and going to be there at the Brickshire facility, HOA facility. Similar to the last one that we did, which was more of just a public meeting, information meeting for the temporary roundabout that we did. So,
in reference to that meeting, do you have a more accurate date when the final roundabout will be completed?
So I didn't bring that with me this evening, but we can definitely have that. We will have that information.
But it is supposed to be done next spring, right?
Next spring, as in 2027, maybe. No, it will not be completed by next spring of 2026. We haven't even advertised the project yet, but
okay,
we will.
Well, I thought it was supposed to be in 26, though.
I think what we said was we would be advertising it in 2026. The project will not be completed in 2026. So we can go back and we can make sure that we have all of our dates squared away. But I can tell you this, we will definitely bring our schedule to the public hearing on Wednesday.
Yeah, and the only other thing that I've requested is that when you do decide to do the construction,
time of year and
it either before racing season or
that's
after,
right.
Not during racing season.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Okay, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
Got it. Ms. Stewart, I know we've been going back and forth on Chickahominy Shores for a while, or Chickahominy Falls, about some ditches. That's still on our schedule. Just haven't gotten to it yet. We have some permit stuff that we have to get squared away environmentally, but just want to let you know that is still on our schedule to be completed. Mr. Evelyn, I know that you had some concerns about Route 608. Previously, some poor asphalt where it's been depressed over time. I think there's a lot of logging operations that are happening,
No,
or just heavy truck traffic.
The quarry up there.
Okay.
It's not Luckstone anymore, but the quarry is right there on Old River Road.
Understood. So what we're going to be doing is doing some, we've submitted it already for what we call an FDR, or full depth reclamation, which is where you chop up that pavement and relay it. So that's been something that we have identified as a priority and submitted to our district. It doesn't mean that it will be selected for FDR, but what we are going to do at the residency in the meantime is do some patching, some of those depressed areas where the pavement is kind of out of shape. I do not know if we will be able to seal it this winter just because of the weather. So typically when we do this heavy mechanized patching with asphalt, we use a grader. You put it down, you spread it with the grader, and then you come back after the fact and you chip seal it over top, and it gives you that uniform finish and seals it. I don't know if we will be able to do that part. But
I'd rather, if you're going to patch it, fine, and fix it right in the springtime would suit me.
That's right. So that's what I have for you.
Thank you.
Ms. Pearson, we've talked a lot about 106. So what I can tell you is the most recent update is that we did get approval from FHWA to make those modifications to the ramp. That was kind of the last thing that we were waiting for before we actually put it into our contractor's court to start scheduling their resources to come out there and do that minor widening and striping. So some of the other things that we will be doing out there this week is relocating some ground-mounted signs that are going to be in the way of that minor widening, as well as we will be installing a no left turn on red sign on the temporary signals. Hopefully that will allow the sheriff's office to give them a little bit of relief for the message board that they have out there right now.
Yeah, I was going to say that Sheriff Bailey will be pleased about that.
Agreed.
Is that project on schedule, Mr.
Yes.
Frazier?
Yes. So that project, that was a change order into the Gap A, which is the 205 to 215. And so the Gap project is still on schedule to finish on time. Gap A is. So yes, the bridge is on schedule.
And how
too.
do the winter months affect that project? I mean, obviously, if it's snowing and stuff, it would, but does the cold weather slow you guys down there, or you just keep going?
Yeah, so there's certain operations that I think they can't be done during the winter, and that's really talk about asphalt. We have certain pavement temperatures that you have to have, or surface temperatures that you have to have before you can put asphalt down. But that's all included in our schedule when we advertise and then have bids come in on the project.
So we have about another 15 months to go, or?
Yes, I think so.
It was 18 months total, correct?
I think it's 2027 that project
Okay.
is expected
That's
to be
about
clean.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we do have another full season, full construction season.
Mr. Frazier, you said that you're going to be restriping the exit ramp. Does that mean you're making it into 2 lanes?
Yes, we are going to be adding a dedicated right turn lane.
Okay. Thank you.
And that is just on the westbound ramp to northbound 106, which I think makes a lot of sense. We came through on my way over here. There didn't seem to be a lot of problems on the south side of the bridge, and you go over the bridge and you look down, and it's pretty messy on that ramp. So the other update that I wanted to share with you, Ms. Pearson, and just the board in general, is Clark Road. This is a rural rustic project that was adopted last year, included in the secondary 6-year plan. We have delayed that project. I think we've already shared that. We ran out of the appropriate weather to do something like a surface treatment. You really want to do that when you have sunlight for longer days and warmer weather, so that it doesn't kind of chip and pop off. So we thought it would make a lot more sense to wait. That being said, we are going to have another secondary 6-year plan, public hearing and adoption in the spring. That's something that we do every year. What I would propose, and I'd like to work with county staff on, is setting up a dedicated public hearing for Clark Road. Typically a VDOT public hearing looks something like, and this is what it will look like next week, is more of a open forum type of public hearing where there's no formal presentation, and there's people there to answer questions to the folks that come and are interested in the project. For Clark Road, I think it might be more beneficial to go ahead and do it in more of like a board setting where we do a formal presentation. I'm open to doing it in an open forum if that's the preference, but I do think that maybe doing it presentation style, presenting what we're doing with the project, what a rural rustic is, our process, and giving folks the opportunity to get up and speak on behalf of the project would be maybe more beneficial for this type of project. So if that's okay with the board, that's what I'm going to propose, and we would probably be looking at February, March when we would be holding that public hearing.
You and I have talked about that, Mr. Frazier, and I'm fine with that. Just for the record, we did have a public meeting, a neighborhood meeting, and at the time we had that meeting, more residents came out that were in favor of paving the road than were not. At that public hearing, too, I would like perhaps the sheriff and maybe the fire chief to tell us about the condition of the road and what that means for the residents that are on that road and how their responses could be affected by that road as well. It's not in good condition at all, and we need to keep our residents safe. So that's fine with me.
All right, that sounds good. Well, I'll start working with staff here at the county to set that up and make sure that we get the proper notifications out. But I do think it'll be a good thing. So with that, I think those are all of my planned updates, but I'm more than happy to take any questions. Actually, Mr. Moyer, I have one thing for you. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I didn't forget you. I did for a second, but I got something for you. So I know you had brought up some of the paving that took place in Five Lakes. You had mentioned at the last board meeting that it looked like a segment was missed. So we went looking, found the address, and we were going, where is it? And then we realized there is like a cul-de-sac so that is not a state road.
So the state road ends at the end of the paving?
Yeah, so
Okay.
that is a paper street.
Paver Street, okay.
Paper, paper.
Oh, I understand, okay.
Yep. So I think what happened was the right-of-way was probably dedicated at some point, but didn't meet state requirements. And so it is, I don't really know what the history is. It kind of looks like it's a subdivided lot for like a family subdivision or something, but it is not a state road. It's not in our system. And that is why that very strange looking cul-de-sac looks like a driveway. It's gravel, and it was not included as part of
You
that.
guys are coming back in the spring to do, or the late spring to do the rest of Five Lakes? Is that correct?
So we were talking about that on the way over here. We're gonna double check and make sure that that's in our plan. But yes, that was one of the things that we said was, I know that Five Lakes was going to take 2 years.
Yeah.
We couldn't remember off the top of our head whether this was year 1 or year 2. It sounds like
It's year 1.
it's year 1. So
And so I'll
confirm
do
that.
some research to see what that cul-de-sac is about. And maybe we can, depending on what my research shows, maybe that can be added to that.
Sure. I mean,
Five Lakes.
if you find out that it is actually a state road and somehow it's not included in our system, then yeah, we can look at maybe doing something like that. But I'll tell you right now, it is not something in our system that we know we've accepted.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ms. Moyer.
I might as well be first. I also attended the VACO, Virginia Association of Counties meeting this week, and I'm on the Transportation Steering Committee. And the relationship and the cooperation we have with you, Mr. Frazier, and what we had with Mr. Wynn far exceeds what other counties have voiced. And so, not to pump you up, okay, but we do appreciate, and this back and forth like this is really good. And I know all of us are happy about this situation. And that, besides this, you answer our emails, you answer our phone calls. And so for the citizens out there, besides going to the VDOT website, give me a call or any of us a call, and we can get a hold of Mr. Frazier for you. So thank you.
Thank you. Can I leave? No. I really do appreciate it. Yeah, no, I do appreciate it. I think we have a great relationship, so I appreciate it. Thank you. And we've had a lot of one-on-one conversations, group conversations, and it all seems to be fruitful, so thank you.
Ms. Pearson?
Anything else? I think we talked about everything.
Mrs. Steers?
Mr. Frazier, you said that the general mowing for the year is over, complete. What about specialty mowing?
I do not expect us to do another cycle of specialty mow, but it's always one of those things that we can issue if we absolutely feel the need to. But no, I do not expect us to be issuing any more specialty mow.
The Promise Forge Christmas Parade Committee is having their Christmas Parade December the 14th on Highway 60. We actually have a permit from you guys to actually close down Highway 60. And it's been probably 3 or 4 weeks, I think, since it's been mowed. So I'm thinking within another month it may need to be mowed again, if you could just check into it.
I'll tell you what I can do, Mr. Steers. You already have the permit in?
For the parade?
Yes.
Oh, yes, we received the permit. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and look at the routing of the parade and keep an eye on that segment of Route 60 and see if there's anything that we can help out with.
We have about 3,000 people come out for that parade, so it looks nice when it's presentable.
Understood. Yeah, keep that in mind.
All right, thank you for
give me a call as a reminder.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Ms. Stewart?
No complaints, just appreciation, of course, echoing what everyone said. But to my surprise, this is the first time period where I've had more calls being happy about VDOT from residents than any complaints. I had 0 requests and 0 complaints between the last meeting and today. And on election day, I was at my home precinct where I saw about 900 folks, and more than 10 of them commented positively about VDOT. So I appreciate that very much. It makes my life much happier, as does everybody. But we have, especially the two neighborhoods closest to my house, the Shores and the Colonies, they've been very, very happy with the services they receive. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mr. Frazier, I do appreciate you looking at 608. I didn't realize how bad that road had gotten since last month. But maybe this question might be more for Mr. Hathaway, just for the public. Crumps Mill Road, I know we've been getting a few emails on that. Can you give us an update where we are with VDOT and getting that road paved?
Sure. Crumps Mill Road, the unpaved portion, we have completed the survey. Upon doing the survey, though, we found that the road was not in the same location that it said it was on the plat. So fixing that issue and doing a new proper survey, 2 lots we found did not meet the proper setback requirements. They were too close to 2 of the residences. Last month or earlier this month, those 2 lots went before the Board of Zoning Appeals, and they received variances. Letters were forwarded to our surveyor last week, so our surveyor can put that approval information on the plat. Therefore, we should have plats soon to circulate through the community. And when I say soon, I think within the next 2 weeks, our surveyor should be able to present plats. Once we receive the plats, we will work with the HOA. And I'm thinking that we will host some type of community event, try to get as many people together at one time so we can circulate the plat and get as many signatures at that point. And then after that, we'll go door to door if we have to get the needed signatures. Once we have the signatures and the survey plat is recorded, then the utility companies will begin the work of moving the utility lines outside of the VDOT right-of-way. And then VDOT should be prepared this spring when the asphalt plants open up to begin paving.
Thank you for the update. Mr. Frazier, as always, thank you. Getting you out here a little early, so.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Evelyn. And,
remember next time when I need a favor.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, thank you, Mr. Frazier. Our next presentation is the Richmond Region Tourism Annual Update. Richmond Regional Tourism President, Ms. O'Donnell. Welcome. Good seeing you again.
Thank you. So glad to be here with you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's been such an uplifting evening already, and we'll just continue with the good news on the tourism front. So I'm glad to be here again. Let's see. There we go. As you can see here, we've had another great year in 2024. We got our visitor spending numbers back just a month or two ago from last calendar year, and just under $4 billion in our region spent by over 18 million visitors, which was up nearly 5% over the previous year. So just great momentum, and then we're seeing the same thing hold true in the current fiscal year already. And we know that tourism creates jobs and generates visitor spending, but even more importantly, it's a force for good in our communities and supports the places that make living in New Kent County and in our region so wonderful, creating that quality of life that all of the citizens here love. And just a quick note on how we've been working so closely with you all in the last year. You know, I think one big highlight for us was the Virginia Derby. Danielle, who's going to talk to you later, was on the planning committee and did all the weekly calls and was a great partner. And we just were so thrilled to see, by moving the date to March and having it be a qualifier for the Kentucky Derby, that was the sold-out event. And so we really see how our organizations and our partners can work together to move the needle. So that's a great success for the year. As you all know, we have regional tourism here for more than 40 years. These localities have been partnering to drive tourism to our community because we know that visitors have no idea what the geographic boundaries are, and they're moving around our region, spending their money, and together we have a more competitive tourism product to offer. And again, when we look at the record breaking, we're looking at 18 million visitors, up 2% over the previous year, and we're seeing a good increase in overnight trips, which means more people staying longer. In New Kent County, you had a great year in 2024. Your visitor spending was up 5% year over year, and generating a great number of 18 million in taxes. When we look at tourism, outside of leisure tourism, when we looked at group bookings, sports tourism continues to drive a lot of the business that Richmond Region Tourism is involved in recruiting. And we love that because those attendees tend to move throughout the region and stay all over the region. And when they're not playing on their fields, they're getting out and about. We are able to, at Richmond Region Tourism, advertise year-round now, which was something we couldn't previously afford to do, but through the Tourism Improvement District, which is in place in the other localities, with a fee on hotel rooms, it's generated more revenue to allow us to do more advertising. One of the main ways we had been doing that in the past, which we just wrapped up, was our Speaks for Itself inspiration campaign, which generated millions of dollars of impressions and awareness about the region, keeping us top of mind. We're constantly advertising. This is an example of an ad that was run recently and always highlighting the different experiences around the Richmond region. This is one we ran in Bermuda when the nonstop flights were launched. We did quite a significant campaign in market in Bermuda to let Bermudians know what there is to see and do here in the region. One other cool new tactic we did in the last year was called Carvertise. These are Uber and Lyft vehicles in the DC area that we wrapped in our branding. So it was like mobile billboards during a very exciting time in the spring in DC. And they ran for about 8 weeks and drove people around, and then did a couple of swarm events. One was at the Beyonce concert where they all came together, all 13 cars, and generated a lot of publicity. So we're trying some new tactics to get the words out. We also have signs in the airport now. They've been kind enough to give us access to the areas that they haven't sold. So we're promoting what there is to see and do when people come to the airport. And we have billboards now. We have 13 billboards up, starting at the North Carolina border and going up to Northern Virginia. And hope you may have seen some of them. Here's a few examples of some of the ones that we're running now. And then, of course, we will always brag about ourselves, but we prefer when other people brag about us. And so here's some examples of media that we've worked for or worked with to promote our region. World Atlas, Dogwood, and Guys Gabbed all wrote stories that featured New Kent in the last year. And we also produce our own content, of course. And so here's some highlights from the RVA blog of features of blog posts that featured New Kent, everything from St. Peter's Church to the Virginia Derby, Farmers Market, et cetera. We're just wanting to get more information out about what there is to see and do in our region. Same thing on social media. We include you all in quite a few of our posts throughout the year. Again, trying to keep people thinking about all the assets that we have in the region. These are a couple samples. And we want to talk to visitors when they're thinking about coming here, but also when they are here. And we do that through our visitor centers and our mobile visitor center, giving our visitors guide and talking to people about everything that we have to offer. We also help our attractions welcome all visitors through our Visitable program, which trains them in how to be accessible destinations. And we work with tour groups. So American Bus Association is an example of groups that sell tour itineraries on motor coaches, and we promote the region for that as well. A couple new programs that in the last year have really taken off is one is our net zero emissions program, where we are able to offset the carbon footprint for some of the events that come here. And we also have some digital trails, the Beer Trail, Mimosa Trail, and we'll be launching the Revolution Trail, where folks can win prizes if they check in at a number of the sites. And speaking of the Revolution Trail, I hope everyone is aware that it's the 250th anniversary next year. So we will be launching a campaign for the Richmond Region 250th called Always Revolutionary. And we will have a webinar at the first of the year where people can learn about how that will work and see the creative. Again, we want to have our history and this rich story that we have in our community front and center as a part of that. So with that, I'm going to ask Danielle to come up and talk about how we've been working in the community.
Good afternoon, everyone. You heard a little bit from Catherine about our partnership and how we work with Colonial Downs for Virginia Derby Day, but a lot of our community relations work is just that. So as the 18 million visitors come into the market, we work with the market right here in the region to make sure that they're ready for the visitors. So we're working with attractions, museums, retailers, and all that touch a visitor to make sure that they're ready for that economy that comes in. And this is just a little bit of the work on how we do that. The first is our signature I Am Tourism program, which we've hosted actually last week. I don't have last week's picture, but we hosted last week at Jolene. And so for all of the New Kent University graduates that just graduated, I encourage you to take our I Am Tourism program, which is a 2-hour educational program on everything there is to do in your backyard, and just an overview of the tourism economy here. And then a 2-hour bus tour that is our immersive experience. We educated over 400 community residents throughout the region last year. We also partnered with VCU to talk with their incoming freshmen and transfer students, really getting them off campus and out into their communities with their family when they come down to visit over the course of their 4 years at VCU. We also have now made I Am Tourism digital, so if people can't come to an in-person program, we now have it available digital too. Workforce development, we're working with our CTE programs, our colleges, on making sure that our young people know that tourism and hospitality is a career pathway and what that looks like in the Richmond region. So when they're thinking about first jobs, next jobs, future careers, that this is in their blueprint of their toolbox. Coming up on January 31st at the Altria Theater is our RVA Sports Awards. This is one of our foundation programs, and this really helps us with providing grants to our sports community through this program. Our celebrity speaker is Brianna Scurry. She's a U.S. Olympic goalie from the Olympic team, and she'll be joining us for that event as well. We hope to see each of you there. And the Sports Awards is really like our local version of the ESPYs. We've got some heartstring stories, we've got some fan favorites, and of course the athletes, coaches, and teams that we all love and cheer for. Our annual meeting is where we recognize those attractions, museums, and other partners across the region that are really doing the best class and service to share their passion with visitors as they come in with our annual awards meeting. And then, of course, we're in our we'll have our third Black RVA Community Awards. This is where we uplift our Black RVA businesses throughout the community. We had 5 awards this past year, as well as our Rooted and Rising Partners of the Year. Similarly, we host our Out RVA program. This year, we focused a lot of our work around World Pride that took place in June in DC, where we brought in content creators, planners, and influencers to look at the Richmond region and the welcoming community. And this is just a little bit of a collage of us out in the community with our teams and partners, really welcoming the community and letting people ask questions and know that we're there to support them. Whoops. I think the videos might be after this. Okay. I'm going to switch. I'm going to do the video first, then we'll go back. Let's see. Perfect. All right, here we go. So over the past year, we had many top moments. Many of those moments were right here in New Kent County and throughout the region. Let's see if I can get back.
That's okay. We can just leave it here.
Okay.
I'll just wrap up and say that it's one of the best times ever to be in the Richmond region, as we saw from the highlight reel, and it's an honor and a pleasure for our team to be the people that get to share the community that we all love with the world. So we're so happy to be in partnership with you all at New Kent and work closely with your team and are excited about the future. So with that, we'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Any board members have any questions, comments?
I'll just say I've been a two-time graduate of IM Tourism, one at Colonial Downs and one at Henrico Library, and I would suggest that not just to the graduating class of New Kent University, but anybody in the county. The bus trip is very, very interesting. If Mr. Miller is the guide, you'll have a very enjoyable day, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Thanks for that recommendation and for your gold star and attending twice.
Well, thank you for coming out and presenting tonight, and thank you for showcasing New Kent as much as you do.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Next, the citizens' comment period. Anyone signed up? I have a couple of people signed up this evening. I'll call your name, and when I call your name, please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, and you will be given 3 minutes to speak. First is Avery Kirby.
Evening. My name's Avery Kirby. My address is 14375 Marine Corps Drive.
Thank you.
I'm on a paper trail. Unfortunately, maybe I should have been with NKU and it might have helped me some. But I've been following. I live off of Good Hope, and Stage Road was June. They partially paved, or kind of like in spots. Okay, and it was good. They really did a good job. And then 3 weeks later, they came back and they trashed it with the gravel and the tar, and now it's lumpy and bumpy and all this stuff. I guess what I've been trying to find out, the lady that's right over there in that other office, Amanda, very nice lady. She was telling me it was not you guys, but it was VDOT was supposed to be in charge of that. And then I called them, and then they said it's not them, it's a group in Ashland. So I'm trying to find out where or who do I say to, why would you destroy a road if it's nice? Because, I think New Kent should be made better all the time, okay? So I'm just wondering where or who do I contact to say that was bad? I don't know who's the taxpayers or how much money they took out of us, but they really need to redo that road because it was nice what they did. So
You have two supervisors up here that's fighting for you.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
How are you? Okay.
Where do you live on?
I live off of Good Hope Road, right near the interstate.
So we have his name and address for the record with Ms. Watkins, and somebody will be in touch with you.
So I should talk to you about that?
Somebody will get in touch with you.
I was just trying to find out where this leads to so I can talk to somebody and or chew someone out or something like that. So,
She's used to that.
I'm just saying, they shouldn't make the road worse.
Sure. If you can give me an idea too, like what sections of the road, you're talking about the whole
We're
road
only talking less than a mile length of road.
Okay.
That they've had.
Yeah.
So that's but yeah, do you want me to need to call you sometime? Or? Okay. All right. Well, thank you. All right. I appreciate it. Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Kirby. Next are Kamaya Wilson and William Smith. Are you speaking together?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is William M. Smith, 4240 Hollow Fork Road, Brownsville. This is my granddaughter, Kimaya, and she's going to help me tonight. But I wanted to speak on Parks and Recreation. I learned recently that directions and good information is very important. I want to know also, has any money been budgeted or set aside to build McKinley Woods into a park? It was stated in the last meeting here that the county has some money left over from the new animal shelter. I wonder if that might be used. And has a time frame been set? Others are looking at this property. Other people want this property, and they have things they like to do. And mine's been working.
Okay, so the Holly Fork Farm has pumpkins, a corn maze, and lots of fun activities. It's a wonderful place in our community, but since it's only been open seasonally, families don't have a year-round place to go together, not just in the fall.
When I visit the pumpkin patch, that's what I call it, there's a lot of people there, and the kids and the parents had a good time. It's I'm not promoting the pumpkin patch so much, even though she works there, and she enjoyed it. But when I visited on the 21st, I observed how happy the kids were, and parents also were. And a park would give families the same experience and a year-long experience. As Psalm 133:1 says, how good and how pleasant it is when God's people live together in unity. This verse reminds us that spending time outdoors helps bring joy and unity to our community. Before you give up on McKinley Woods, just know that it can be used for more than just a park. People can host events, festivals, sports tournaments, birthday parties, family reunions, etc. It can bring revenue also to the county. Thank you. Psalm 19:14.
Thank.
I say, Mr. Chair, was her name Amaya?
Kamaya.
Kamaya? Kima? Oh, sorry. Do you know your grandfather is famous here? Thank you for coming and joining him. I'll look for him at every meeting. So thank you for being with him today.
All right, that ends the citizens' comment period. Next, we're going to presentations. George Watkins Elementary School Field Renovation Project, Parks and Rec Assistant Director, Jason Baldwin.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and members of the board. I come before you this evening to request funding to renovate the George Watkins Elementary School baseball field. The field currently has significant safety and surface issues, including tree roots and unkept playing surfaces. The property is owned by New Kent County Public Schools. Mr. Hathaway, along with Parks and Recreation staff, met with the superintendent of the schools for permission to complete this project if approved, which was granted from the schools. The New Kent Youth Association, as well as other affiliated groups, have expressed concerns regarding growing population and the need for additional fields. There are future fields planned for the Pine Fork Park, but this will require design for parking and other infrastructure for the fields. This is an alternative to provide an additional field for this upcoming season this spring of 2026. The project cost to renovate the field is between $74,715 to $80,390. depending on what option. We also ask for the consideration of 6 to 10% contingency in addition if approved. I am more than happy to answer any questions or concerns that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Baldwin. I actually sit on the liaison to the Parks and Rec Commission, and we had the New Kent New Kent Youth Association baseball team at our last meeting, and that program is just growing leaps and bounds, and they're struggling for field space. And, I thought this could be a quick fix option. The field is there, it's not being played on. We did the same thing at Quinton Park a couple years ago for the girls softball team. So instead of reinventing the wheel, I thought this is something that could bring us a quick fix and get some more kids on the baseball field. So anybody got any questions? I'll just kind of give you the background from the Parks and Rec Commission. They recommended this option, this fix.
I just have one question, or maybe one, I don't know. I haven't been there since I was in elementary school at George Watkins. So do you know any history on when it was last done, or is it no longer usable because it's old and not taken care of, and then is there a plan if we renovate this to take care of it for longevity?
Yes, ma'am. There's different situations. One of the phases to this project would be there's 3 really large oak trees that are there that the roots are coming into the field. We're looking at removing those, and then that will take care of the debris from the leaves and things like that are getting on the field. I would say that the fencing that's there and the dugouts along with the backstop is probably older than I am, so probably over 40 years old right now. The fence is in pretty bad shape. It's starting to roll under, creating safety concerns and things like that. The infield dirt, there really isn't any infield dirt anymore. It's just a little bit of bare soil, but mostly weeds and different items like that. There's some pretty large areas where it's holding water, so part of this also would be laser grading it in order for the storm water to flow correctly on the field. So it's a pretty extensive but full renovation, just like we did at Quinton Park, which is doing great right now for the girls softball.
And who would be responsible for maintaining it once it's done, Parks and Rec or the school?
It would be a mix between Parks and Recreation staff, but also we would ask for whether it's the New Kent Youth Association with them to help with some of the field maintenance. We tell these coaches every time, make sure they're raking around bases, pulling the bases, raking any low spots, and they're also they're willing to help drag fields as well if needed.
Anyone else? I think that how many kids did they said they had to turn down a bunch of New Kent kids because of the field space?
I think they turned about 50 down, but just one of the numbers that the president of the NKY left us was that they saw just in the fall, from last fall to this fall, a 94% increase in numbers. So, and then it looked like a 34% increase from the previous spring to this, 2 springs ago. So, and like I said, it's not just New Kent baseball; it's the girls softball, other affiliated groups as well. So, but we do give priority to what's considered our co-sponsored groups.
Mr. Chair, I think anything that keeps our youth outside instead of in front of a screen is a good thing. So, if nobody has anything else, I'll make a motion.
Would this come out, if it's approved, coming out of contingency?
The Colonial Downs Reserve.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which option what option are you recommending?
I would recommend the option 2. That encloses the outfield fence to that, which there is not an outfield fence. That does help kind of, for a coach to be able to control, balls that are going too far, and also helps with the kids and everything. So I would recommend that. And I do believe, And I do believe that a 6% contingency should be
I was
fine
gonna
for that.
say the contingencies built into that.
It's not, I believe the motion that you have before you, that is not the correct number. If we added the 6% contingency in that, I believe the total that I came up with was $85,213.40.
What was it? 85,000 what?
Let's say 86 is good.
86,000?
Yeah. Any other discussion? I do know your Parks and Rec appointees and commissions are in full support of this at the last meeting.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move to appropriate up to $86,000 from the Colonial Downs Reserve for future projects budget line item to fund the proposed renovation of the George Watkins Elementary School field.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Any other discussion? None, Ms. Watkins, poll the members, please.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you, Mr. Baldwin.
Thank you.
I'll get to work before the season starts. All right, our next presentation is a request for supplemental appropriation for electrical and piping repairs and leak investigation at the Parham Landing wastewater treatment plant. Mr. Lang, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Our request this evening is for an appropriation of $151,595.91. We had an emergency repair at the wastewater treatment plant. We had a major electrical short. The cause was traced to groundwater entering underground electrical ductwork. Upon further investigation, it was found that we had several leaking pipes. We had to make the electrical repair, the piping repair. The excavation had to be done by hand and by vacuum because of the tight working spaces as well as the delicate nature of the work. So this is an electrical and piping repair that's already been performed because it was an emergency. We were out of power at the plant.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Lang? I don't think we have much choice in this matter. I guess you're on call. I was going through the paperwork, so your on-call construction company is a local company?
Yes, we utilized our on-call contractors, BTS and Power and Flow Solutions.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any other discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
So, Mr. Chair, I'll move to authorize the county administrator to approve the appropriation for supplemental appropriation for electrical and piping repairs and leak investigation at the Parham Landing wastewater treatment plant.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Any other discussion? Ms. Watkins, poll the members, please.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passed. Thank you, Mr. Lang. Next presentation is consider the exemption request of Jacob Yost to section 98-1069B3 of the New Kent County Code, Resolution R-36-25.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yep, again, this evening I'm here to present a exception request submitted by the applicant Jacob Yost to be granted relief from the requirements of the Commerce Corridor Overlay Zone, which limits the total area of a freestanding sign for properties located in that district to no more than 50 square feet. This is the proposed sign that the applicant is requesting relief for. So the subject parcel zone business is located at 3025 Pocahontas Trail,
where Bottoms Bridge Tire and Auto Care is situated within the boundaries of the Commerce Corridor Overlay Zone that extend outward from Route 60. The original sign for the business, which did not include the digital reader board that you see now present on the screen, has existed at the site since approximately 2007 and has existed as a legal non-conforming sign since the time that the regulations of the Commerce Corridor Overlay District were introduced in 2022. So that, the existing area and height of the sign would not typically be allowed under the current day regulations, but by virtue of having existed prior to those regulations being put in place, it was legally non-conforming. A little background, in early 2025, the sign was damaged by high winds and debris during a storm and was reinstalled with the addition of the pole-mounted digital reader board that you see here, taking the total sign area from 64 to 85 square feet. And again, as just a quick point of note, it is the increased sign area, not the digital nature of the reader board addition that requires the exception request. So again, the applicant is requesting an exception from this requirement in order to be granted retroactive approval of the 85 square foot freestanding monument sign. Upon reinstalling the sign with the addition of the digital reader board, staff notified the applicant that that was in violation of the requirements of the Commerce Corridor, which resulted in the applicant submitting the exception request. So again, it was an after the fact exception. Just a little quick context, sort of a comparative table here to kind of understand where things are coming from. That should say business zoning, but the requirements are the same. The business zoning designation, which governs the regulations typically applicable to this parcel, would normally allow for a sign of 25 feet in height and 150 square feet in area. But again, it is specifically the Commerce Corridor restrictions that further limit the size and height of permitted signs. So in Planning Commission's consideration of the request at their October 20th meeting, the Commission found that the requested exception would not satisfy the findings necessary in order to grant such an exception. So those findings are taken straight from our county code and shown on the screen here. And they also had cited some additional concerns regarding both the retroactive nature of the request and sort of potential erosion of the intended aesthetic sought to be brought about as a result of the design requirements of the Commerce Corridor Overlay District. And as a result, the Planning Commission ultimately did vote to forward an unfavorable recommendation of denial of the exception request to the board. With that in mind, that is ultimately the recommendation that they forwarded along to you all. And that kind of concludes the staff presentation. I did want to take a moment to recognize that the applicant, Jacob Yost, is here, and he had kind of requested to speak to his request a little bit, give a little bit additional context from the applicant side of things. Yeah. I can just kind of leave that up on screen for digestion.
Mr. Yost.
Good evening, members of the board and county staff. I'd like to begin by briefly speaking about our business and its role in this community. Bottoms Bridge Tire and Auto Care has been part of New Kent since 1999. Since taking ownership in early 2024, we have made significant reinvestments into both the business and the county, growing our team from only a few to more than 15 employees, improving wages and benefits, and expanding our service capacity. We have more than doubled our revenue since purchasing the business and are on track to triple it in 2026, all while maintaining competitive pricing despite high industry-wide inflation. That growth has stayed local through new jobs, upgraded equipment, local partnerships, and continued service to New Kent residents. Many of our employees and families call New Kent home. They purchase houses here, they support local restaurants and businesses, and they are active in local schools, churches, and community events. We view Bottoms Bridge Tire and Auto Care as a community anchor, not just a business. Our goal has always been to operate in a way that's professional, responsible, and rooted in community engagement. Our sign was damaged in a storm. We rebuilt it to the same structural specifications as the original and added a simple LED reader board to improve communication with the community, sharing business hours, seasonal safety reminders, and service notices. The business is set significantly back from Route 60 and is not visible from the roadway, so the freestanding sign provides necessary identification for motorists entering the facility. Maintaining clear visibility supports safe and orderly access to our business from Route 60. We are a local small business, a proud advocate for small business growth, not a national corporation. Our situation differs from others in this corridor that benefit from direct road frontage and full visibility from Route 60. In our case, the sign serves as a safe identification landmark, providing motorists with clear and reliable reference point for safely turning into our facility. We are here today seeking an exception under Section 98-1071 to allow the existing grandfathered sign to include this LED component, increasing the display area from 64 square feet to roughly 85 square feet. With no change to the sign's height, structure, or placement, county staff reviewed and recommended approval at the Planning Commission hearing. And we are here tonight to present our case to the board, you all, emphasizing that the property's unique visibility and access constraints are central to this request. We are also open to reasonable conditions the board may find appropriate, including a base enhancement, landscaping improvements, dawn to dusk lighting, and any other adjustments the board feels necessary. New Kent County promotes itself as a great place for business to grow, and we agree. Our growth is rooted here, and we are committed to continuing that growth with New Kent for the benefit of our employees, our clients, and this community. I wanted to thank you all for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? Mr. Yoder?
Mr. Chairman,
Sears?
I've known Mr. Yost for several years now. This is not the only business he owns in Providence Forge. He opened up his car lot maybe, 3 or 4 years ago?
Several years ago.
Several years
been a while,
ago.
but yes, sir.
And, I mean, he's an outstanding businessman. He gives back to the community. I don't think what he's asking for is unreasonable. I know the planning department, they said they were in favor of it. The planning commission voted it down 5-4, only one vote.
Sure.
And it would have passed. And I just feel like, I mean, I used to own a small business in Providence Forge for 14 years, and I know what signage means to a business.
Absolutely.
I was between where Brothers Restaurant is and the automotive shop, and I had a problem trying to get a sign put up out there, and people would call me and say, Ron, where are you located? And I said, I'm in between those two businesses. And they go, there's not a business there. And I go, there is. I'm between the Greasy Spoon and the Grease Monkeys, you know? But, you know, and I got a variance on my sign.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's very important to a small businessman, you know, trying to build a business.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we've gotten variances on other signs and other, you know, for other businesses throughout the county. So I'm certainly in favor of it.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Any other comments?
Yes, Mr. Yost.
Ms. Stewart?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, Mr. Chair, I just wanted to note for the record that after we approved our last sign exception, I had several angry phone calls of people Monday morning quarterbacking, and unlike that, We actually have people reach out proactively to me, even though this is not in my district, saying they support this request. So I'll be supporting it for that reason. I encourage folks to pay attention to our agenda. If you have things you want to comment on, do it before we vote on it.
Thank you.
Mr. Moyer?
You had a little chuckle when you said about dawn to dusk, dusk to dawn. That was the recommendation I gave you when you called me.
Sure.
And that is when it's the most not pleasing.
Sure.
Okay, at that time. And I understand, the signage and that. We have one of the things we're looking at is there are 5 business sites that go from you towards the east.
Understood.
And if they come back with signs that are fully digital at 85 square feet,
Understood.
what
Yeah.
are we going to say? Are we going to say no? You can't.
Yeah.
Those are the problems.
Sure.
So if that would be something that you'd be thinking about, that
Absolutely.
if you go from dusk to dawn, I can see myself going more favorable.
Sure. Sure.
Is Ms. Pearson?
I was just say that I've had citizens contact me both ways,
Sure. Okay.
in favor of it and against it.
Understood.
So I'm a little torn on this. We have the overlay district for a reason. It was
Understood.
voted on. 60 is a long corridor of exceptions to provide if we provide your exception. And that's what I'm torn on. So
Understood.
It's a precedent that we're setting.
Understood. And I see, I can see both ends as well. And I would say people don't tend, or some people don't tend to like change at times. But from a safety standpoint and seeing the amount of people and the long driveway that we have and how they zip down there because they just see it at the last second, I would say it almost helps. I see it as a helpful tool, just a reference, a landmark. That's how I view it. But again, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. So understood.
The comment, the one thing you said about your business and the growth.
Sure.
90% of that time, the business and the growth happened with the old sign.
No, that's not correct. It has. I would say, well, yes, we've grown substantially, not due to the sign. Yeah,
Right.
not due to the sign since we've been there. So since we opened up,
The digital was not part of that major growth in your business because
a
the digital
portion,
it
yes.
hasn't been there that long. Okay.
It's yeah.
So
Understood.
your stats.
Understood.
Okay. So
Would you consider just putting a digital sign there altogether put you back into compliance? Because obviously you were in compliance, and then when the sign fell, you put yourself out of compliance. So precedence is my concern as well. But I mean, if you want to make New Kent look better,
Yeah.
would you consider putting a complete digital sign?
A complete digital sign. I don't know if I'd be in a position to do that right now.
Could you put it? Would you put it? You could leave it there, and then within a year you'd consider. I mean,
we could. Yeah, I'm absolutely okay.
To put you
with,
back in compliance. I would like to see you get back in compliance because that overlay district. I mean,
Sure, understood.
It's there for a reason. If we could give you a year or 18 months to get you back in
and
improve it for.
And again, what exactly would you like to see? Just like an example, almost. So
whatever gets you back in compliance.
Okay, understood.
Yeah, work with zoning.
Sure.
On what would be appropriate for that.
Okay. And again, I wouldn't be opposed if it's the structure of the sign that we just don't find it appealing. If that's the issue, I don't have an issue doing some landscaping or making a brick foundation or enclosing it to make it look better. I'm open to those options. I 100% am. I want this corridor to look great because that helps us as well.
Right.
So we have a precedence to hold as well.
Mr. Chair, I thought it was not in compliance, but you were grandfathered in at the time. No, that's not the way it was. Okay.
He was in compliance, and then the sign fell, and he added a digital portion to the bottom of the sign and put him out of compliance.
I misunderstood that part. So
I apologize. It was a grandfathered sign. A non-conforming sign was rebuilt to the exact same specifications.
We
The
can do
only
it.
thing that was added was the 3x7 reader board at the bottom. That is the only difference. That's where it came into non-compliance.
And that's not working all the time, right? I think I've been by there a few times.
It comes on and off, yes.
Yeah.
But it is a switch, so essentially we do have to turn it off manually. Yes.
So if you consider that, I could support it, but I mean, yeah. Would you be willing?
I would say 2 years.
I'd like 18 months.
Definitely.
I don't like 1 year.
Good, then we'll go 18 months.
I like negotiating.
But it might be 3 board members here, so I mean, it's prerogative of the board.
Question, Mr. Chair, so I understand where we're at. Are we right now asking Mr. Yost, or telling him we will give him 18 months to get into compliance with his current sign, and during that time he can operate the sign that he has? Okay. I think that is something I can support.
Mr. Chair, I'm a little slow. Mr. Silva, can you tell me, being in compliance is 50 square foot, isn't it?
That's correct.
And the old sign was 65.
That's right. We would consider him under the eyes of our sign ordinance to be in compliance if he does go back to that original sign area. There was no increase in height, so that's not a concern with respect to any changes needing to be rolled back. If he goes back to the original 64 square feet,
Then
we would consider him to be in compliance.
Yeah, I'm saying, I mean, he's obviously, that sign was there, so he could stay within the 64.
Sure.
Yes, sir.
Because he grandfathered.
When you say in compliance, you don't mean the 50 square feet, you mean the 65.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for clearing that up.
I don't know exactly what this motion needs to be, so Mr. Hefty, can you help me? I think it would be to approve an extension of being out of compliance for 18 months.
It would be to approve the exception request for a period of 18 months, and the exception would vanish at the end of the 18 months, unless he comes in compliance.
Okay, I'll take a stab at this. All right. Mr. Chair, I move to approve the adoption of Resolution R-36-25 to approve the applicant's exception request to Section 98-1069B3 of the New Kent County Code to allow a waiver from the additional requirements in the Commerce Corridor Overlay District at 3025 Pocahontas Trail, tax map parcel 29-1-A-C, GPIN I-06-1478-4475 for a period of 18 months.
Correct.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Any other comments?
We don't need to add anything else to that.
No.
Okay.
It's approved for 18 months, and after 18 months, it goes away.
Ms. Watkins, poll the members.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passed. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Joseph.
you all. Thank you all.
Thank you for being part of business in New Kent.
Absolutely.
All right, our next is property access and entry agreement for tax map parcel 24-17A. County Administrator, Mr. Hathaway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. The request before you is authorization for me to execute a proposed access and entry agreement with Jonathan C. Kinney in a form approved by the county attorney. This is for tax map parcel 2417A. This is property that the county is considering purchasing for the construction of a new courthouse facility. This access and entry agreement will allow us to get onto the property and perform preliminary engineering work that would include geotechnical work, soil testing, and an evaluation and an environmental evaluation looking at stormwater protected resources features as well. This property for the public is located next to the Ordinary, between the Ordinary and Cumberland Road. We've worked with Mr. Kinney. He is interested in selling the property. He's informed us that we don't need a purchase agreement at this time. He will allow us onto the property if we present him with an access and entry agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Hathaway. Board members, any questions? Mr. Hathaway? None, entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize the county administrator to execute the proposed access and entry agreement with Jonathan C. Kinney in a form approved by the county attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Moyer. Any other discussion? Ms. Watkins, poll the members.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passes. Next is Design, Building, Construction Management Guidelines, Resolution R-37-25. County Attorney, Mr. Hefty.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. What you have before you are guidelines for design, build, and construction management. There are three ways to construct and design buildings for public bodies in Virginia. First way is design, bid, build, where you hire an architect. The architect designs the building, and then you put that design out to the construction community for invitation to bid, and you take the lowest responsive and responsible bidder, basically taking the lowest price. The General Assembly has allowed localities, including counties, to use two alternative methods for construction of buildings. One is design build, and the other is construction management. The difference between the two is with design build, you basically put out an RFP for a team of the architect and the contractor. And they submit proposals to you, and one of the big differences, you evaluate and interview those proposers, and you pick the one you like best, who makes the best proposal, as opposed to the low bidder. So the process of who you pick is different. With design build, the contract is with the contractor, and the contractor hires the architect, as opposed to the locality hiring the architect. So you have a team of the architect and the contractor who design and construct the building for a guaranteed maximum price. Construction management is the third method, and that's where you hire an architect the same way you did for design, bid, build. The architect does preliminary design, 30% drawings, and then you hire a contractor. The contractor and the architect work together to finish the design, so you have that working together part of it. And then the contractor gives you a not to exceed price. Again, you hire the contractor that you think will do the best job, as opposed to the one that gives you the lowest price. So the big difference between design, bid, build, and either design, build, or CM at risk is in the latter two, you're picking the person you like best after interviewing them, as opposed to taking the low bid after you have the architect design it. There are advantages to both. There are disadvantages to both. The General Assembly has set forth a statute that regulates design, build, and construction management pretty thoroughly, and these guidelines follow that state code provision. This is totally optional with the county. You have to, in order to use design, build, or construction management, it has to be a complex project. So there's a definition in here of complex project, which could be building systems. It could be the fact that you need the building quicker. It could be the nature of the design. So you have to decide that it's a complex project. And if you do that, then you can use either design, build, or construction management. So it's on a project-by-project basis. You're not bound by adopting these to do any of the three with any particular project. This just gives you the option of using design, build, or construction management on a particular building. So it's not binding you at all to any particular form of one of those three. You have to decide that on a project-by-project basis. This is just enabling legislation for you to make the decision when that project comes up as to which one of those three you want to use.
Thank you, Mr. Hefty. Any questions?
Mr. Hefty, that basically we can still take the lowest bid.
You can,
If we want
absolutely.
to.
If you decide
But
you
it
want to
gives
take,
us an
if you
option.
decide you want to do it the traditional way and take the low bid, you can do that. And there are advantages to that.
Sure.
And there are advantages to the other two as well. And when you get a project, then you have to look at them. You also have to have an architect on board to advise you as to which one to do. So you actually have to hire an architect to give you advice on which one for each individual project. And you have to vote if you're going to use design, build, or construction management.
And I'm assuming we're setting this in place because it's a good potential that the courthouse project could be qualified.
I think the courthouse project would qualify as a complex project.
Yeah.
So if you're going to do the courthouse, I think these are two options that you should have before you. I'm not telling you which one to use. I'm just saying this gives you the option to use either of the three.
Mr. Chair, can I ask another question? Okay. And this might be for Mr. Hefty or Mr. Hathaway, is what other kinds of projects, would it be advantageous for schools as well?
It would be, it could be. One of the advantages, I think, of design, build, or construction management, it happens faster. And one of the reasons it happens faster is because the contractor and the architect are working, in design, build, they're working together from the beginning. And in construction management, you've got the contractor on board at 30% design, and then they work on the rest of the design. So a lot of times they can start civil work quicker, and you can finish quicker. And with schools, sometimes it's nice to have a school open in September. And so sometimes the timeline for a school becomes really important. And that's a good reason for schools to possibly use construction management or design build. As far as which one's more expensive, it's hard to say. Some people say design bid build is cheaper because you get the lowest bid. But with design bid build, because you're taking the lowest bid, you also have change orders because the contractors are trying to put in their lowest bid possible. And you also have litigation sometimes. So, and you don't do both of them for each project, so it's hard to compare them. So when people say which one of these is cheapest, it's hard to really say. Both of them work. I've been involved in projects that are design, bid, build that are perfectly good projects. I've also been involved with projects that are design, build, and construction management that work out great. So there are pros and cons to each. This just gives you the option down the road as to using any of the three.
And I'd like to add, too, with construction management, the thing that's attractive to me is the architect works for the county. With design build, the architect works for the contractors. So I feel that potentially the county could have more control over the design of this project.
Any questions, comments? entertain a motion.
I'll do it if nobody else wants to. Mr. Chair, I move to adopt Resolution R-37-25, approving the proposed design, build, and construction management procurement guidelines.
Thank you, Ms. Stewart. Ms. Watkins, poll the members, please.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passes. Our last presentation this evening is Cox Communications Change Order. Finance Director, Mr. Lawrence. Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. The item you have in front of you tonight is a change order for our Cox Countywide broadband project. We've been speaking with the team at Cox, and they have located 124 locations that were not in their initial build out in the 2022 agreement we signed. So per that agreement, they have requested partial reimbursement for that expanded service area. It would follow the same reimbursement as our current agreement, where Cox would cover 52.5% of the project. So the total $600,000 contract amendment, the county would be responsible for approximately $285,000 worth of that. I have provided you a map that didn't print the greatest because of the file type, but I can provide you the file type if you need to see those specific locations a little bit more in depth. And this would be coming out of the Colonial Downs Reserve for future funds, or future projects, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Lawrence. Any questions?
Mr. Lawrence, do we know if there's many more of these that they're going to capture?
I don't believe so. In speaking with them and reviewing the reports they've sent us lately, it looks like they are pretty close to being finished. We're starting speed testing, which is kind of the end of the road for the main project. So I think this is the last bit that they would need to include.
Mr. Lawrence, the map that, oh, sorry, is it okay?
Yeah,
Okay. The map that's on here with all the pins in it, that concentrated area looks like is that the arbors?
I would have to pull that up.
Mr. Hathaway? Or Venetera? No,
White House. This would be the Venator community. I believe this isn't the arbors. This is the cottages.
The cottages, yeah.
Yeah.
So aren't they built with the?
No.
At the time we entered into a contract with Cox, those units were not built. I don't even believe the subdivision was approved yet, so they weren't even lots of record at the time.
Okay.
Since we began the contract with Cox, then those were recorded, so they were additional homes to be included.
Mr. Steers.
Yes, this may be a question for Ms. Hathaway. Do you know how close Cox is to completing their project?
From their last monthly report, they are about 98% complete. As was said, they are beginning the speed test, so they are wrapping up. Now, I do know that there's probably a handful of homes that are still probably going to be outstanding because we're waiting on easements from the railroad. The railroad kind of moves at their own pace. They have a lot of control. We can't tell them what to do.
Sometimes the railroad doesn't move.
Right. So
you might want it cold. I have plenty for sale.
So there probably will be about a handful of outstanding homes after we complete the project, but we'll still take care of it.
And does that also include all the updated projects that they were going to do after they did the initial line runs?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
They're actually about a year ahead of schedule.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Chair,
Any other? Ms. Pearson?
I'll move to transfer $285,000 from Colonial Downs Reserve for future projects to the broadband expansion project.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Ms. Watkins, poll the members.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passes.
I think that when this is complete, we're going to be the first rural county to have complete broadband in Virginia. So thank you to the administrator, thanks to the board beforehand. Quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. I know we've had a long agenda this evening, and I guess missing that work session in October put us back. But do you want to take a 5-minute break, or do you want to keep going? Yeah. So for the public hearing, we'll take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back.
We haven't signed it. What we did. And they want us to say that there are overruns. We haven't even appropriated $3 million. So I want language in there. We'll give you $20 million subject to appropriation.
I was just making sure that I wasn't falling behind.
That works for me. So anyway, we're trying to get a meeting with VDOT, talk about the language, and Rodney's supposed to solve it. Of course.
Let's see. I got a meeting with Bucky. 464. 464 for the interchange.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We don't want this to, you know.
We talked about it.
Paul, did you hear anything from the?
I don't see that. Call the meeting back to order. We have 5 public hearings this evening. First public hearing tonight is Resolution R-32-25R1 to authorize acquisition by condemnation certain temporary and permanent utility and construction easements for the Route 249 water line extensions. Public Utility Director, Mr. Lane. Good evening. Again.
Tonight we have a public hearing and resolution request for condemnation of 8 public water line easements along the south side of New Kent Highway between Bottoms Bridge and Quinton. They're bounded on the east and west sides of Old Pond, which is also known as Lake Johnson. This condemnation sets forth the legal process for the county to exercise its constitutional authority of eminent domain and is related to an identified public need, the Route 249 water line extension. As we have discussed previously, this project is critical to New Kent's near and long-term water supply planning and has been in our water master plan for almost 10 years. We have a slide here with a map of the parcels. You see there's 8 parcels involved. Bottoms Bridge to the west on the left side of the screen, Quinton to the east on the upper right side of the screen. These parcels are under ownership of Patrick M. Jabral and Jabral Chester Properties, LLC, whose principal contact is Deborah Jabral. So to date, we have negotiated all of these easements together. On behalf of New Kent County, our agent Dewberry has successfully negotiated 35 of 43 easements for the project. Personally, in 18 years, I've worked on hundreds of easements, and we haven't had to do condemnation until today. So condemnation is always the last resort. You have a contact log included in your agenda package. Dewberry made bona fide attempts to reach an agreement beginning in November 2023 when our assessment of the value was $48,423. Over 6 conversations directly with the Jabrals, our offer was increased to $73,223. In April 2024, they referred our agent Dewberry to their nephew John Shia, who readily admitted he was not a practicing attorney, he was not an appraiser, and he was not authorized to enter an agreement on behalf of the owners. So at that point, the county attorney advised that we proceed to condemnation. The landowner provided an estimated, or Mr. Shia provided his estimated valuation of $275,800. So we had a vast discrepancy to cover. In October 2024, we commissioned an additional professional appraisal of all the parcels, and it came back as $56,170. In May 2025, we terminated the discussions and commissioned yet a third appraisal to ascertain the current property value, and that was $59,637. So we sent a final offer letter. In July 2025, condemnation laws changed in Virginia, requiring the inclusion of a title report and other documents. So we sent yet another final offer in September, and finally a third final offer in October 2025. During that time frame, Mr. Evelyn, I believe, had reached out to the Jabrals as well directly, and they referred him to Mr. Shia. So, to make a short story long, in this particular case, we could never generate a productive conversation with the owner, and we could never get a written counter offer to our written offers. So we are here with the public hearing and the condemnation resolution request. We did a title search at the beginning of October, so we're all clear on the titles. Your most recent offer letters are attached to the agenda, as well as the prior offers. I did not include the title search documents because this came out to about 800 pages once we included everything. So those are publicly available documents. I did not feel a need to put them in the public agenda. Let's see, let's go to slide 2. This slide addresses some of the concerns we did hear from Mr. Shia. Our total permanent easement across these parcels, 57,607 square feet. That's about 1.32 acres. Temporary easement, 13,260 feet, and that is only 0.3 acres. And then tree clearing, again, about 13,760 feet, about a third of an acre. When we look at zoning and some of the building setbacks that may be impacted, we found that only 2 parcels are zoned business. And so the easement could potentially affect the building setback on those 2 parcels should they choose rear parking. They could conceivably have a structure 20 feet from the edge of right-of-way. Our maximum easement width is 29.25 feet. So the impact to their building setback, at most, is 9.25 feet. These 2 snippets from our project plans show the easements as well as the water line. You see the right-of-way is the orange line. The water line alignment is the dark, thick black line. And then tree clearing is shown in green. And then on the lower snippet here, you can see the directional drill section, which actually drills under the pond, and that is the dark blue line. Similarly here, this plan sheet is all under the pond at the top, and then terminating here at the bottom near Custis Lane, which is a little dirt road off of 249. With that, I'll wrap it up, turn it over to questions or public comments. I do have Ross Green, our attorney in the matter, and Paul Froelich, our agent from Dewberry, with us if we have questions for them.
I'll open the public hearings. Has anyone signed up?
We have one. That you want. Oh, I'm sorry. No one signed up. I'm so sorry.
All right, so no one signed up for the public hearing. I'll close the public hearing. Any questions for the attorneys or Mr. Lang? Mr. Steers?
Mr. Lang, you said in your, 19 years?
Almost 18.
Okay, 18. This is the first time we've ever done this, right?
Yes, sir.
Which is,
And I've dealt with some characters.
I know. I know.
I don't want to name any names, but
Right.
yes, this is my first condemnation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the idea of it, but
I don't
you've
either.
exhausted every avenue.
I
So.
feel like we have.
Okay, thank you.
No, I agree. It's the first one I've been part of since I've been on the board. Very upsetting. I guess the 9 feet, I mean, that can be a lot, you know, on the parking setback. So that's setback from the easement.
Well, that would be the building setback, not necessarily parking. Parking
building.
would be in the rear in that case,
Okay.
actually, yeah.
All right, I got you.
And with no development on the site currently, it's challenging to say what would be there. I will say that the provision of public water certainly enhances the value of the parcel
Right.
if they choose to develop in the future.
Because you're just going right past the residential piece.
There is also a small subdivision included in this, yes, undeveloped.
Yes.
So public water potential for that.
All right. It's a pleasure of the board.
Just one thing, Chairman. The population, the public needs to know what we're doing. We're allowing our water pipe to go under the surface. That surface cannot be built on. It can be
Correct.
used, but it can't be built on.
Correct.
And once this is done, pretty much no one will know it is there.
Well, there'll be a fire hydrant.
Oh, okay, there'll be a fire hydrant too. Okay, I
Correct.
just said this is not, we're not tearing somebody's down. This isn't that kind of condemnation. So we understand that these properties will be able to be used. It's just that at the edge of a street, they wouldn't be able to build a building.
Correct.
wouldn't be able to anyway.
Does not impact access. It does, it's parallel to the road, so the impact, it's the minimum possible impact that we could have and still do the project. I will point out that we need a 20-foot easement. If we have a 20-foot stripe and there's 5 feet between that easement and the road, we have compensated them for that 5 feet, right? So we've just widened the easement that much more and given them that. It's usually a small amount, but given them compensation because we recognize from here to the road is not useful.
Okay, and then also, a community doesn't condemn something without the benefit of the overall public.
Correct.
So the overall public is that this enhances our water system how?
This is a key to our water supply future because this is one of the main pipelines that will carry water from the proposed water treatment plant to the rest of the county. So this will connect Bottoms Bridge and essentially the farms of New Kent water systems and everything in between.
With that, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I move to adopt Resolution R32-25, R1, authorizing acquisition by condemnation, certain temporary and permanent utility and construction easements for the Route 249 water line extension.
Thank you, Mr. Moyer. Any other discussion? If none, Ms. Watkins, poll members, please.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
John Cadeau.
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next public hearing this evening is application ZM-02-25, ordinance O-18-25, rezoning from A1 agriculture to R1 single-family residential. Mr. Silva.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Yep, again, the next item I'll be presenting on is a rezoning request submitted by Pomeroy Park Partners, LLC, to rezone a 7.03 acre parcel located at 4620 New Kent Highway from A1 agricultural to R1 single family residential. So just a little bit of context, as many of you are likely familiar with it, the Pomeroy Park community is shown here, adjacent to New Kent Highway, outlined in red, while the parcel highlighted in yellow would be the subject site at the center of this current rezoning. So a little bit of background regarding this request. So the Pomeroy Park Cluster and Open Space Subdivision Project was approved as a by right subdivision under the regulations of the Cluster and Open Space Subdivision process detailed in Ordinance O-15-21. It was in July 2022 that the Board of Supervisors subsequently voted to approve Ordinance O-11-22, amending those cluster and subdivision regulations under which Pomeroy Park was originally approved, which did, in addition to other changes, include changes to the overall permissible density of such subdivisions, as well as the minimum open space values required of such subdivisions. Due to those aforementioned changes, the cluster and subdivision regulations, the approved Pomeroy Park subdivision is now unable to be amended to include some additional lots that the applicant is looking to get out of the subject site at the center of this proposed rezoning, as this would trigger a requirement to comply with the current day cluster and open space subdivision regulations. So as such, the applicant is seeking to rezone the subject property from A1 to R1 single family in order to allow a subsequent subdivision of the property into eight lots of commensurate size of those in the existing approved Pomeroy Park subdivision, so that they may be developed as single family residences and functionally incorporated into the Pomeroy Park subdivision. So this is a sort of, final layout would be addressed at the subdivision stage, and I think the applicant has a little bit more of an up-to-date concept plan, but this is the general idea of how they'd be looking to subdivide should the rezoning be approved. So a little bit of some details regarding the staff analysis. So regarding traffic impacts first, the applicant has indicated that pursuant to the thresholds established in pertinent VDOT guidance manuals, the additional 7 lots, not including the existing home, which will remain on the residual lot, they would generate less than 100 additional vehicle trips per day, and therefore anticipate that the overall traffic impacts of the rezoning would be largely negligible. And indeed, both VDOT and the Department of Transportation here in the County Transportation Development expressed no concerns regarding the potential increase in traffic volume stemming from the potential future lots. As you heard from the last presentation, water availability is a very important thing to account for here in the county as well. So as part of their review, the Department of Public Utilities did comment on the importance of needing to account for water availability in relation to future development in this part of the county. However, the overall water use impact stemming from 7 additional lots would generally anticipated to be low impact. Finally, to address some of planning staff's considerations, planning staff does believe the rezoning request is appropriate for a number of reasons. Firstly, the subject property is located directly across, or rather directly adjacent to several other R1 single-family residential properties located just across New Kent Highway. And as such, the request would not represent a spot rezoning that would result in a parcel of isolated zoning designation in comparison to those around it. And in addition, the development character and parcel sizes associated with the future subdivision, again, would result in parcels that would be consistent with those in the approved Pomeroy Park subdivision, which surrounds the site on all 3 sides. And in addition, staff that found, upon crunching some numbers, that the proposed overall density and open space provided for the combined Pomeroy Park, the original approval and that's being called Section 2, would comply with the density maximums and open space minimums that were in place at the time of the original approval for the original Pomeroy Park. So in other words, had this parcel been involved in that original subdivision, it would have complied with all those regulations at that time as well. So with all those aforementioned considerations in mind, staff is recommending approval of the rezoning request. Likewise, at the October 20th meeting of the Planning Commission, they too voted to forward a favorable recommendation of approval of the rezoning request to the board. So that is the long and short of the staff presentation on this one. I did also want to take a moment to introduce Nathina Hodges from the applicant team, who will do a little bit of a presentation to kind of tell you more about the proposal from the applicant side of things.
Good evening.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, chairman and members of the board. My name is Nathina Hodges. I am the project manager and zoning coordinator for Roger Chennault, Inc. On behalf of the applicant. I first want to thank Mr. Silva for his thorough presentation on our request, as well as all the departments for their input during the review process. It's been very beneficial and informative for us as well. I plan to highlight just a few important elements on the project, so I'm going to try to keep it short for everyone. Some notable features include the existing 75-foot natural buffer that you'll see in the dark green color on the exterior perimeter of the parcel. This buffer is already recorded with Section 1 of Pomeroy Park and will remain as is, with exception of the public road connection to be known as Googie's Trail, as well as the driveway connection for Lot 2. There will also be a 35-foot right-of-way dedication to match what is already dedicated in Section 1, so your right-of-way is just going to go as a nice straight line. The density of the request is 1.14 units per acre, and Lot 1 with the existing home will be retained by the current homeowner. This is planned to be recorded as Section 2 of Pomeroy Park with the HOA docs, which will also grant these lots access to the amenities and trail system within Section 1. So this is an overall color layout to give you a better visual of the existing section with these lots outlined in pink. The entrance into River Bridge Drive is a right-in and right-out access only. So the full access road for Pomeroy Park is off to the east, off of Emily Jane Place. As you can see, these lots are compatible and with the surrounding uses and have little to no impact to environmental factors. I would also like to take a moment to note, it was asked during the Planning Commission in Section 1 whether the roads were paved yet or what the plan was for that. Emily Jane Place and the road stemming off of it will be paved by the end of the year. So, and then we'll be moving towards the other side of the subdivision later on next year. Some of the housing elevations are going to mirror the options that you see in Section 1. These are just a few options already marketed in Section 1. And the upper left corner is actually one of the models in Section 1 that you can see today. So that is a picture of a live action model. So we do have 2 COs in there. Both of the models have those. And then that's all I have for you all today. Thank you for listening, and I'm happy to answer any questions or concerns.
Any questions at this time? Ms. Steers?
Yeah, who would be the builder?
So we have 2 builders currently in Section 1, so they have first right of refusal to that. So that is currently RCI Builders and Eastwood Homes.
Main Street?
Eastwood. Stylecraft. I'm sorry. I apologize. Stylecraft Homes. It's been a long night.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I'll hold off any questions till I might have a few more questions for you in a second, but I'll open the public hearings if anyone signed up. All right, no one signed up, so I will close the public hearing. Board members, any questions for the applicant or Mr. Silva? It fits into the project.
Yeah. I guess I like that it actually would have fit in the project before the board had changed the specs.
Cluster, yeah.
So that was good. Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt O-18-25, application ZM-02-25 to rezone tax map parcel 20-84A from A1 agriculture to R1 single-family residential.
Thank you, Mr. Moyer. Any other discussion? Ms. Watkins, poll the members, please.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passes. Our next public hearing this evening is application CUP-01-25, resolution R-34-25, conditional use permit request to operate an assembly hall event venue. Brian and Stephanie Purcell.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Mr.
Chair.
Silver?
Next up for your consideration again is a CUP request submitted by the applicants Brian and Stephanie Purcell for requesting approval of a proposed assembly hall/event venue use located at a 4.66 acre parcel at 5321 Hopewell Road. Again, pursuant to section 98-62 of the county code, such a use requires conditional use permit approval in order to operate in the A1 zone. So a quick overview of the proposed use. The applicant intends to utilize the site to host small-scale, sort of intimate events, including weddings, birthday parties, family reunions, religious retreats, these sort of things, for a maximum of no more than 50 guests at any time. So the site is currently and would continue to be served by private well and septic systems, but for all events, the applicant proposes to rent and utilize portable, ADA-accessible restroom facilities to be used, which would then be pump and hauled and sanitized after the conclusion of each event. No existing buildings located at the subject site would be used in relation to the proposed use, which would instead utilize proposed ADA fire code compliant outdoor deck and tent areas. And then to address parking, the applicant would be accommodating any parking associated with the use via implementation of a 20-space gravel parking lot completely on site, which would comply with all parking requirements of this specific use. So this slide here provides an overview of this scaled concept plan under which the applicant intends to configure the site relative to the use. So you can see the existing home in the sort of southeastern portion of the site with the tent and sort of event deck areas located more towards the middle of the site, and then the gravel parking area located towards the rear of the site. So to address some staff feedback on this specific CUP request, staff is generally supportive of the CUP request, but I would still like to take a moment to highlight a number of comments received from our interdepartmental review team in relation to the proposal. So regarding traffic considerations, VDOT did note during their review that the site entrance needs to meet minimum design standards for a low-volume commercial entrance in accordance with their road design manual, as well as meet all applicable stopping site distance requirements. And as such, the applicant has worked with an engineer to ensure that the site entrance will meet all of the aforementioned requirements, but this also has been added as a condition of approval to the CUP itself. Our environmental review team noted that while no new structures are proposed for the construction at this time, any land disturbance in excess of 2,500 square feet would be required to follow all of the appropriate requirements of the land development process and land disturbance process. Regarding some feedback from our building division, they did highlight, particularly as part of their review, the need for ADA accessibility, stable, firm, slip-to-resistant surfaces to access all elements of the site, as well as that requirement that all the bathroom facilities be fully ADA compliant. Regarding sanitation considerations, both the Health Department and Department of Public Utilities have indicated the need for waste from the ADA-compliant bathrooms to be pumped and removed after each event, which the applicant has agreed to be the case. And in addition, the Health Department has also indicated that if the restroom trailer is proposed to be connected to the resident's private water supply, a bacteria sample, a one-time sort of bacteria sample would need to be provided with test results to ensure that safety of use can be provided for all future guests. And then finally, just to address planning staff's considerations, while we anticipate that the overall impacts stemming from the small-scale use are likely to be relatively low, we still have recommended a number of conditions of approval. that have been added to address potential impacts of things like event duration, frequency, traffic and parking, site cleanliness, noise impacts, lighting impacts, these sort of things, to ensure that the operations of the use at the site won't have negative impacts on any surrounding property owners. So with all of those considerations in mind, staff is again recommending approval of the CUP request, and likewise at their October 20th meeting, the Planning Commission also voted unanimously to forward a favorable recommendation of approval of the request to the Board of Supervisors. So that concludes the staff presentation for this item. I did also want to take a moment to note that Mr. Purcell is here this evening. In case you all had any questions for him as the applicant, he has indicated he's ready and able to address those. So with that, I'll conclude my presentation and make myself available for any questions you might have.
Thank you. Does the applicant have anything you want to say?
Good evening, Chairman and Board. It's my first time. So my name is Brian Purcell, and I appreciate your opportunity to speak here tonight. My conditional use permit is for a small family-run micro venue for intimate gatherings, weddings, community events like Santa, the Grinch, Easter Bunny, things like that. This isn't a big event center. It's a peaceful nature space where our county can celebrate close to home. We designed it to be compliant with low impact. The entrance and parking meet the VDOT and emergency access standards, with parking contained for 20 vehicles. Restrooms, I've purchased, I won't have to rent them, but they are ADA compliant. The lighting is going to be soft temporary, and they're going to be turned off at each event. They're going to be ran by a generator. Hours and noise, everything's going to end at 9 o'clock, closing at 10, but 9 to 10 to be our cleanup time. And one of the conditions they had at the Planning Commission is Sunday we won't start services until after 2 p.m. So the church next to us will have their opportunity to have service. Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for the applicant? Thank you. This time I'll open the public hearing up. Anyone signed up? One person signed up. Billy Gerald, would you please state your name and address for the record? And we'll give you 30 minutes, please, sir.
Yes, my name is Billy Gerald. I live at 5350 Hopewell Road, which is directly across from where he's at. Like they said, the church is there. There's a few graveyard on the left, on my side, and then there's another old church building on the other side of him, which floods or stays wet and damp all the time. The noise level, got a guy behind me that raises rat terriers, and it's enough noise already in that area. So, yeah, I really wouldn't like to see this come in. I don't think there's a lot of parking. You know, if you said 50 people, 2 people per car, that's 25 cars, not 20. So consider not to have it put in, please.
Thank you. No one signed up, so I'll close public hearing now. Mr. Silva, what? Can you elaborate a little bit on the restrooms for me? Are they going to be like the restrooms where air conditioning, heated, cool? Like, is that what they're going? What the requirement?
So I believe, and Mr. Purcell might be able to speak to this a little bit more. I don't believe it's the sort of restroom trailer setup that has those sort of accommodations like you're speaking to, but sort of fully ADA compliant Porta-John style restrooms. That would be cleaned and sanitized after each use, and pumped and hauled after each use.
And the CUP allows gravel parking lot not paved.
Yes, in this case, there was no other requirement that we would, otherwise require that this be concrete or asphalt parking areas, so that under the regulations of the county code, gravel would be acceptable in this case. Yeah. I will mention that just sort of speaking to the parking requirements, the way that they're structured in relation to this specific use is a sort of 1 space per 4 attendee configuration. So technically, the actual parking minimum that he would need to meet in order to be compliant with our regulations would be 13 spaces, but he has proposed to sort of go above and beyond that by providing 20.
Anybody other got any comments, questions? Mr. Steers?
Mr. Silver, what is the county code for requiring a paved parking lot? Is that 75 spaces?
Now, that's a good question. You know, the requirement for certain surface treatment in parking lots can be triggered in a number of ways, actually. You know, for example, there is a separate regulation as part of the Commerce Corridor Overlay District, for example, that any property within the bounds of that area needs to have concrete or asphalt parking lots. With respect to a specific trigger point based on total space volume, I might need to double check on that. The 75 space figure isn't coming to mind, but I can double check that code for you real quick and see if there is any specific trigger point like that. One's not coming to mind, though.
Okay, that's okay.
Yep.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No. All right. Any other comments? Anybody entertain a motion?
Mr. Chair.
Stewart?
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt Resolution R-34-25, granting approval to application CUP-01-25 to permit the applicants to operate an assembly hall event venue at 5321 Hopewell Road, tax map parcel 2A-1-7, subject to the proposed conditions of approval.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Any other comments? Ms. Watkins, poll the members.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passes. Next public hearing is CUP-02-25, Resolution R-35-25, conditional use permit to operate a commercial kennel. Brandon and Trish Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair, and y'all are stuck with me for one more item. So again, the final item I'll be presenting on this evening is another conditional use permit request submitted again by the applicants Brandon and Tricia Johnson for approval of a proposed commercial kennel facility on a currently vacant property located on Stage Road, Lenexa, identified as tax map 35-3B. Again, according to the regulations of the county code, this commercial kennel use does require CUP approval in order to operate in the A1 zone. So that is a sort of just contextual site image showing where on the site they would be proposing to construct the kennel, but future development of the site would be subject to site plan submission and approval. So final build out will be addressed at that stage. So to provide a brief overview of the proposed use, the applicant intends to develop this site as a commercial kennel where they will provide board and care for no more than 35 dogs at any one time. And they also propose to provide dog washing and grooming services for dogs under their care. The applicant has stated that the future kennel facility buildings and enclosed dog run will be set back quite significantly off of Stage Road. And staff has alerted the applicant that future development, again, in relation to the site, would be subject to all those formal site plan review requirements that I had mentioned. With respect to sort of hours of operation, the applicant would be proposing to operate the facility Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. With rare exceptions made outside of these hours via appointment only. So as an additional sort of important piece of background here, The applicant did previously receive CUP approval from the board for this same use at this same site in August of 2020 with the board's approval of resolution R-31-20. Now, the CUP that was approved at that time included a condition of approval that stated that this conditional use permit shall expire on the 5th anniversary of its approval if a certificate of occupancy has not yet been issued. Unfortunately, as luck would have it, the applicant was not able to develop the site and secure a CO prior to the expiration date of August 10th, 2025. About a month before that expiration date, they had contacted staff letting us know they were prepared to move forward, but obviously a month wasn't enough time to secure that CO. So really, the applicant is looking to secure reapproval of the same use in order to move forward with the project now in the present. So to address some staff consideration of this request as well, regarding traffic, VDOT did note during their review that any future site plans for an entrance on Stage Road would need to be designed to meet moderate volume commercial entrance standards per their road design manual. And at the site plan stage, VDOT will obviously provide comments on the site plan proposal and ensure that is the case. So that hasn't been conditioned as part of the CUP. Regarding sanitation considerations, the health department has indicated that the EPA regulates wastewater systems for kennels, but the soil evaluation design work for such systems still must be conducted by an AOSE and may also need involvement of a professional engineer for the non-human wastewater generated by the dog kennel. Again, these are all things that would be addressed at the site plan stage. Now, the sheriff's office also did provide some guidance advising the applicant to educate themselves on the regulations contained within the state code pertaining to commercial kennel dog breeding operations to make sure that they are following the letter of the law there. But again, nothing that needed to be added as an additional condition of approval. And then finally, to address staff's planning considerations, again, while for this request, we anticipate the impact stemming from the proposed use to be relatively low, conditions of approval still have been added to address potential impacts of things like hours of operation, site cleanliness, traffic and parking, noise and lighting. We did have a number of nearby property owners come out to the Planning Commission hearing to kind of voice some concerns about potential environmental impacts and potential noise impacts from this use. The applicant is here tonight and might be able to speak to this a little bit more, but the plan for the eventual kennel facility would be to have, where the dogs would stay to be fully enclosed, and they would be brought in each night, and it would be sound treated in such a way where you wouldn't be able to hear barking all night from any of the neighboring properties. And then again, any environmental impacts would be addressed at the site plan stage and need to comply with all pertinent environmental regulations at that point. With all that in mind, staff is recommending approval, and likewise at the October 20th meeting of the Planning Commission, they unanimously voted to forward a favorable recommendation of approval to the board. So that concludes the staff presentation of this item, but I did want to just point out that Mr. Johnson is present this evening in case y'all have any questions for the applicant, but I likewise make myself available for any questions you might have for staff.
All right, I'll open the public hearing real quick. Has anybody signed up? All right. Applicant would like to speak. Ms. Johnson.
Just really quick, just a couple things. Thank you, Board and Chairman, for hearing me today. Just on a couple of issues he talked about, the noise complaint is often what we would hear from a dog facility and dogs barking and whatnot. Dogs will be brought in and out during business hours for the most part. There will be that one later evening time that dogs will need to go outside, but they will be kept inside of the facility at night. So they will not be free to come and go in and out of the facility. They'll be inside in their own contained area. And like I said, we'll take all advantages of any sound dampening things that we can do to try to minimize that noise and impact on our neighbors. We've already had soil work and some things done. We will have an engineered septic system, and we'll comply with all runoff and any kind of environmental impacts that are deemed necessary by any of the agencies that we work with in developing the site. And with that, I'll take any other questions you guys may have.
Mr. Steers.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Johnson, how are you proposing to rid of the animal waste?
The animal waste will be collected every day and disposed at a refuse site. The water, urine will be washed down into the engineered septic system.
Like you said, a refuge site?
The county dump system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We also have, I've been looking into
the county allowed businesses to use the dump.
I've been looking into, more recently, into having a private service with a dumpster on site to be able to get rid of that waste and have a commercial operation come and take it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Mm-hmm. I'm just not for sure everything that they need, but I have been checking on it to try to alleviate that stress.
Ms. Stewart?
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
In the application or in the Planning Commission statements, it says that it'll be called New Kent Pet Resort. Are you totally independent from the other businesses that use Pet Resort? Like I think there's one by the airport. This would be your sole business.
Yeah, this is a completely independent, locally owned, locally operated kind of facility.
And then
It's just a popular term now for these kind of facilities that would include grooming and stuff.
As a person who doesn't have children but has pets, I understand that.
Yeah, we thought it was a better catch-all term.
And then what type of dogs are you planning on breeding there?
I breed Vizslas and wire-haired Vizslas, which are a sporting breed of dog for bird hunting. So those are the type of dogs that I currently breed. I have no intentions of breeding any other dogs. Two is enough. So.
Because my only concern, Mr. Chair, in this is the breeding part. I do not want us to have a puppy mill.
Yeah.
You seem responsible. I like the pictures you included in your presentation.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very cognizant of that, and I want to make sure we stay away from that. And I would encourage you to breed GSPs.
You breed GSPs?
No, I said I would encourage you to breed GSPs.
Two's enough. We do one litter a year, generally speaking, currently, and believe me, getting rid of puppies and deal with that more often than that is not something we necessarily want to do. We did do 2 litters this year, but last year we didn't do any litters. So like I said, I try to produce a quality dog. I'm also a board member of the National Vizsla Association. That's an organization geared toward the performance enhancement of Vizslas as a high-class bird dog. So my objective in breeding is really to provide a dog that I want, and I want to try to compete with in different venues and whatnot. I also run a hunting guide service where I use my dogs for guiding and whatnot. So not any plans to do the puppy mill kind of thing. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was on the Planning Commission when you came to us the first time,
Okay.
and I remember you presenting, and you were going to do some training of the dogs too. Is that
Yes.
correct? And I thought you had said at the time that you wouldn't have any more than like 10 dogs on site at a time. Was that? Do I recall that? Or
The original plan was for 30 runs and then no more than 35 dogs, assuming that some people may have 2 small breed dogs and want to keep them together in the same run.
I got you.
So that would allow us to go to 35 dogs. The 10 that you may be referring for, and I'm trying to remember this myself, may have been me saying that's how many dogs I would personally take on to possibly train at a time out of the 30. I may take on 10 dogs to train that would be staying on property in there, but that would be included in the 30-dog total.
Gotcha.
That would not exceed the 30-dog total.
Right.
So that might be where the 10 came
Yeah,
from.
thank you.
Would be my guess.
Mr. Chair, I forgot to ask Mr. Steers. Since we talked about this last time, have you gotten your dog trained? Could you send your? Do you work with all dog types?
I mostly work with pointing breeds, and I do work with flushing breeds, but I do usually stick with upland hunting as opposed to waterfowl. So if there's a lab involved, I'm guessing, Mr. Steers, that maybe someone else might be a better suit for that.
You don't want this dog.
Okay.
Well, thank you. And I guess you're not recommending the 5 years? Let's see.
So we actually have kept that condition in to ensure that a sort of just general approval isn't hanging out there in perpetuity for the land. Of course, if the board didn't feel that were warranted, they would always have the purview to amend the conditions of approval to remove that. But that was ultimately a condition that staff recommended stay in and the Planning Commission kept in as well.
Well, if I closed the public hearing, but I'm closing
Just
right now.
really quickly on that, the 5-year note, we are kind of waiting for these 2 the October meeting and this meeting to go to our lender. We have approval for our lending and our funding at this point. We've had some soil work done, and we have a contractor, so don't intend to go anywhere near the 5 years at this point with funding already being secured and just waiting on some final documents to be able to close on that. So we're hoping to close on our loan before the new year starts, and then starting on construction as soon as we can get through all the approvals.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, I move to adopt Resolution R-35-25, granting approval to application CUP-02-25 to permit the applicant to operate a commercial kennel at tax map number 35-3B, GPIN 120 or I-23-0558-3500, subject to the proposed conditions of approval.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Any other comments? Ms. Watkins, poll the members, please.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Motion passes. All right, our last public hearing this evening. Proposed easement agreement with Tidewater and Big Bend Foundation. Mr. Hathaway.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. You have before you a request from the Tidewater and Big Bend Foundation for an easement, a 10 by 10 easement located on tax map parcel 27-7-4-6. This is the property located at the corner of New Kent Highway and Cumberland Road. Property recently purchased this year by New Kent County. The purpose of the easement request is for the installation of a directional sign directing visitors to the Cumberland Estates property. In your packet, you have a rendering of the sign. You also have a map, a plat of the easement, and a copy of the easement agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Hathaway. Any questions or comments? We did have, trying to find here in the, did have Mr. Hefty do a license agreement. In this easement agreement, it's got comments of a perpetual easement, and that means forever. But I know there's some comments on the bottom of it that gives the guarantor reserves the right to require it to be moved. But after talking with the county attorney and some of the board members, we feel like this could get to the same point that the Big Bend Foundation wants to do on the license agreement. Is that a fair statement, Mr. Hefty?
Yeah, you can do it either by easement or by just a license agreement, which allows them to use our property. License agreement is a little less formal, less permanent, and I think for a sign of this type, the license agreement probably fits better than an easement.
So, does anybody have any questions or concerns? None?
So if we did a motion, we would put license agreement instead of easement. Okay. Yeah, you still need a public hearing.
Oh.
It is a public hearing. It is a public hearing.
Well, it is a public hearing because of the proposed easement. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if a license agreement would require.
You do not need a public hearing. Right. But you probably should open the public hearing on the easement.
Yeah. All right, so I will open the public hearing on the easement agreement. Anyone signed up?
Yes.
Mike Lang.
Good evening. Thank you. Mike Lang, 7051 Poindexter Road, New Kent, speaking on behalf of Public Utilities. Just want the record to show that we have a easement request with Big Bend Tidewater pending, and they have not been non-responsive, but the response has been pretty tepid. So I just want to put that out there that we would like to get equal consideration on our request from them that the county gives them on their request. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Mr. Lang, what easement is that? Could you?
Sightline easement for our public utilities office site plan, truck entrance on Poindexter.
Okay. Thank you.
You know, I would like to state, though, for legal purposes, we should keep the two items separate, and our decision today should not be based on that outstanding issue.
Thank you, Mr. Hathaway.
Two separate. You're welcome.
All right, well, I'm going to close the public hearing on the proposed easement agreement. What's the pleasure of the board?
That's it, Mr. Chair. Just a question. Is there any time sensitivity to this?
It's my understanding with Mr. Hathaway, they've been trying to get it on the agenda for a while, and we just trying to get the right verbiage worked out. And
okay, thank you.
But.
And I would like to inform you that there are representatives from the Tidewater Big Bend Foundation here today, in case there's any questions.
Mr. Chair, can I make a motion to authorize the county administrator to execute the proposed license agreement to use county property with the Tidewater and Big Bend Foundation for the installation of a directional sign on property owned by New Kent County and identified as tax map parcel 27-7-4-6.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson. Any other discussion? Ms. Watkins, poll the members.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Hathaway.
Okay.
All right, elected officials report. Ms. Stewart, I'll start with you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I want to make sure the public is aware that the Department of Social Services is still taking applications for those that need Christmas assistance, and they'll be taking those through December 10th. So you can go either online for their application or fill out an application in person. And this is the same for people that would like to be a part of sponsoring a family or sponsoring a child. And also for Thanksgiving, I talked with them today, and they still had 5 to 8 families that needed a sponsor for Thanksgiving meals. So if anyone feels extra moved to do that, I know that they would appreciate it. And then District 5 is having a streetscape public meeting on December 17th at 5:30 at Lucanos. Eltham residents will be getting a postcard, and it'll be advertised appropriately on social media. But this is the opportunity Ms. Inman spoke of maybe last meeting or the meeting before that regarding just very initial conversations about what streetscape changes could be made or that the residents want to be made there. So I would encourage residents that are interested in that to come. Like I said, the Eltham residents will be getting a postcard, but obviously anybody is welcome to come and participate in those. And just want to recognize the really wonderful Veterans Day program that we attended yesterday at the middle school. I think they did a great job. That was the first one I got to attend since I was in middle school there. And they were recognized as becoming a Purple Star school, which recognizes schools that have special, I'm going to say recognition for military-connected families. And as we continue to grow and become attractive to those military families, I think it's important that we as a community and especially as our school are prepared with the complex and just very special value and opportunity to serve those students. The Chamber also put on a great Veterans Day event yesterday and ended the day with the New Kent Veterans Association or Club. Just recognized the really fantastic opportunity we have as a community to recognize the service and commitment, because many of those, I know some of them in the room, did not stop serving when they took off the uniform. So just want to recognize the effort that was put into yesterday and just recognize the significance of Veterans Day. And if Mr. Smith was still here, I would tell him happy 250th birthday to the United States Marines. But with that, that is all I have, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Steers.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I wanted to apologize to my colleagues and my constituents. I was absent from the October meeting because of a family emergency, and I believe that's the first meeting I've missed in 14 years. So I apologize. Also, last Saturday, I attended the New Kent Veterans Gala at Colonial Downs. It was a superb event. A lot of veterans in New Kent County were there. The Forge Foundation is having their Thanksgiving feast again on Thanksgiving Day this year. It's on at the Province Forge Recreation Center at 9900 Carriage Road. This is our 16th year. We're picking up 50 turkeys next week, and they'll start thawing out. We'll have turkeys, ham, all the fixings, and it's all you can eat for 99 cents. Also, the Province Forge Christmas Parade will be held on December the 14th, and you can go on Facebook online and register your group or float or whatever, or you can go to C&F Bank in Province Forge or Quentin to pick up a hard copy. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pearson.
Yes, I just wanted to announce that the NAACP Fall Festival is this Saturday, November 15th from 11 to 4 at the Cumberland Community Center. They ask that you bring a donation of canned goods and gently used books. New Kent County will have a tent there. I will be attending from 11 to 12:30. I have another obligation later in the day. There will be vendors, raffles, games, face painting, crafts, and food trucks. And also just want to remind the public that the New Kent Grand Illumination is Sunday, November 30th from 3 to 6. It's the 12th annual one, and it'll be in this area right here. It's a great event.
Mr. Moyer.
I hope I'm not stealing your thunder, Chair, but the five of us, along with Mr. Hathaway, we got to attend this afternoon the grand opening of AutoZone. Now, we all know that it's been open for a while, but now they brought in all their executives, all their distribution center people from a lot over the country, and a lot of people from Memphis, their home office, to celebrate this time. Quite a interesting working culture that AutoZone has, something that us in New Kent can be proud of the values that they bring to this area. Governor Youngkin was there. He spoke to what he classifies as the new renaissance of business in Virginia, and also that the CEO was speaking of the 400 employees that they have right now at AutoZone and the possibility of 400 more. So things are looking very promising at an area that we want businesses to grow. So we want to thank AutoZone for what they've done, and also they want to be very much in part of the community. So we appreciate that too. Thank you.
I was going to say a little something about that, but I'll just add. But the Secretary of Commerce and the EDA was also there today, and I think this is something New Kent should be really proud of. He stated that it's very seldom that you see one administration at the groundbreaking and at the ribbon cutting. He said it's pretty much unheard of. So that goes a lot to our staff here in New Kent for getting through those processes, those permits, and getting them open as quick as we did. So We had a good collaboration with state and local governments, and we made this thing happen very quickly. And it's something that we all should be proud of, and proud of our staff. Staff reports.
I have none, although I am working with our state representatives, and I will be following up with you shortly with some meeting options. I have sent an invite for the November 24th work session to incorporate a meet and greet with our state representatives. It appears that that date will not work from an email I got this afternoon. So I'll be looking at other dates, potentially the first week in December. I'll reach out to everyone to see what your availability is.
One comment on that, on the legislators, and that there was a supervisor from Roanoke County that they put their legislative update and what they want in the legislative on a card about this big that's able to be folded and be able to put into a pocket or a purse that his representative can keep with him all the time, so he knows how his county feels about things. So it might be an idea for us, for our legislators too.
Seeing no other staff reports. Appointments, delegated by district. I have one. I move to appoint Valerie Miller as District 1 representative to the Social Services Advisory Board to serve a term beginning July 1, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2029. There are no other. Ms. Watkins, will you poll the members of appointments delegated by district?
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Appointments not delegated by district.
Mr. Chair, I move to appoint Sarah DeTruitt as an at-large representative to the Historic Commission to complete a 4-year term ending December 31st, 2026.
Any other? If none, Ms. Watkins, we poll the members on the appointments not delegated by districts.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Any appointments of regional boards and commissions?
Mr. Chair, I move to appoint Charles Moss as a New Kent representative to the Colonial Community Criminal Justice Board to serve a term beginning January 1st, 2026 and ending December 31st, 2029.
That's it. Ms. Watkins, will you poll the members of the appointments of regional boards and commissions?
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. All right, anybody have anything else?
Mr. Chairman, I move for adjournment.
Before we do that, before I accept that, the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Supervisors will be held at 6 p.m. on Monday, December 8, 2025, and the next work session will be held at 9 a.m. on Monday, November 24th, both here in the boardroom in the County Administration Building. Thank my fellow board members. It was a long night. Thanks everybody for staying up tonight, staying with us, and everyone out there watching as well. And on behalf of the board, hopes everybody has a healthy and safe Thanksgiving. And Mr. Steers, motion for adjournment. Ms. Watkins, poll.
Ms. Stewart?
Aye.
Mr. Moyer?
Aye.
Ms. Pearson?
Aye.
Mr. Steers?
Aye.
And Mr. Evelyn?
Aye. Meeting adjourned.